Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I have for you this beautiful, very Christmassy gingerbread theme wreath, chocked full of gingerbread elements. This one is perfectly perfect for a kitchen decorated in a gingerbread theme. I just love this one, and I hope you do as well. This one was so fun and easy to make, and I hope while you watch this tutorial, you feel inspired to make one for your home or to make this one perhaps for a gift. Welcome to all to my channel today, and if you are not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing. As well, if you enjoy this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with others. Okay, let me show you how I created this beautiful gingerbread theme deco mesh Christmas wreath. Let's look at the items that you will need to create this beautiful wreath. I have here 4 different types of deco mesh. I have a white snowball mesh from craftcentraldesigns.com. It's a 10-inch mesh by 10 yards. I absolutely love craftcentraldesigns.com and their deco mesh. That one there is a Hobby Lobby mesh. Now, every other week, their mesh is 40% off. And that mesh there is also from craftcentraldesigns.com. And let me tell you, that particular mesh with the stripes is so impactful and so beautiful on this wreath. That was a great addition to this wreath. All right, there I have a pile of red pipe cleaners, and I'm going to be using those for the bow as well as creating my bundles that are going to go on this gingerbread theme wreath. So I'm showing you again here all the meshes that I used. I used a 14-inch wire wreath frame that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to be creating 2 different types of bundles for this wreath, and I'll speak about that in just a moment. I have here this beautiful mesh tubing that I picked up on craftcentraldesigns.com. Absolutely love it. And I'm going to be using 3 different ribbons for the bow. I picked this one up, I believe I got that on Amazon at some point in time. And I believe that's a craftcentraldesigns.com gingerbread theme ribbon. Very beautiful. The first one has a white background. This one has a red background. And then I have here this candy cane print ribbon. And then I purchased that from Hobby Lobby in their 50% off department. I have their red and white stripe. I contemplated using that, which would have been another good option, but I already had the 3 that I had decided on for the bow. Now I have this Celebrate ribbon. It's a little gingerbread narrow ribbon. I didn't end up using that. Okay, so I got these little, I think they're called garden stakes, but I got them in the Christmas department at Hobby Lobby at 50% off. Very cute. A boy gingerbread and a girl gingerbread. I'm going to put those on the wreath. They're a metal, and I just took some wire cutters and snipped off the long stake that came on those. And I have here some picks that I picked up at Hobby Lobby as well. I'm going to be using the candies off of that, but not the green, I guess berries you could call them. And then this piece I also picked up on craftcentraldesigns.com. It's a very lightweight wood piece, and I'm going to be placing that in the center of my wreath. I have here a 7/8" ribbon that I purchased at Hobby Lobby as well. And of course you'll need scissors, a hot glue gun, a measuring tool of some kind, a measuring mat, or I always measure off my my deco mesh, usually just on the table with a piece of masking tape. But this time I'm using my measuring mat, and I'm going to be cutting my deco mesh in 16-inch lengths. So I'm going to be placing those two types of mesh together, the burlap colored mesh along with the red snowball mesh. So I'm doing the woodland method, but I'm doing it in a nice loose curl method. I like to have my curls very loose and full. Now you can roll your rolls tighter if you like. That's completely up to you. I do mine this way. I roll it a couple of times, hold it with one hand, roll it up a couple of times with the other hand, and then I scrunch it down the middle, and I just meet both ends together, and I just put those two deco mesh bundles together. Now those are going to be paired up. I actually did 22 bundles for this wreath, so I did 11 of each. I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to cut 16-inch length pieces. You can use a rotary cutter if you like. Now this deco mesh is extremely sturdy. This was almost difficult to work with. It was so sturdy, but I absolutely loved it. Okay, so roll up the end, hold it with one hand, roll up the other end. Notice that my curl side is facing up. Now I just scrunch it. See how I did that with my fingertips? I collect that together and put on a clip. I get my clips at the Dollar Tree. Same with this piece, which is going to be paired up with. I roll up both ends, and then I scrunch it right down the middle. Collect that deco mesh, place it crisscrossed over the other mesh bundle that I created. Then I take a half a pipe cleaner and wrap it around. Now, if you want to do tighter rolls on your deco mesh bundles, I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Now, what happens after you create your bundles is they might look a little wonky and spread out, but once you put them together and collect them, you're going to see that it creates an amazingly beautiful bed of deco mesh on that wreath frame. All right, I'm going to show you a tighter roll here, and then I take a clip. When I want to hold tight rolls, I clip it. Then I turn it around, roll up the other end 2 times, scrunch, 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 right down the middle, take that clip, and hold that bundle. And I take my other one, roll it, place a clip, turn it around, roll up the other side, scrunch, 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 right down the middle. Take that bundle, pair it up with the other bundle you just created, half a pipe cleaner, wrap that around, and you're going to create 11 of those bundles. All right, now I have some cookie cutters. There's 3 of each size. One is a boy gingerbread, and one is a girl gingerbread cookie cutter. So my idea was to paint these cookie cutters with that Krylon spray paint there. Now it appears on the can that it's a very pretty, vibrant red. There's something weird going on with my video here. It's just in slow motion, but I promise you it's going to stop here in just a minute. So I decided that I was going to spray paint these cookie cutters, thinking that that would be a great idea, which had the spray paint gone on the cookie cutters, the same color as it was on the can, it would have been a good idea. But as it turned out, I repainted them white. But this is the color. I wouldn't recommend it the way that it went on those cookie cutters. It turned out to be almost like a barn red. Yeah, kind of dark. And it just didn't go with the deco mesh. So I repainted them. But honestly, no big deal. Took them outside, sprayed, covered very easily, no problem. All right, so now I'm going to put my bundles on my 14-inch wire wreath frame. I'm going to rotate between the second and the third wire on my wreath frame. So I'm going to start right on the crossbar. Now I like to collect my deco mesh by squeezing it. You saw me just doing there. And then I open up the tails of my pipe cleaners. I'm going to press it right down on that let's just say the third wire from the outside. See how I collected in my hand there? You can really manipulate your deco mesh. It's very compliant. All right, now I'm going to place my other bundle type on the second wire. Pull it really tight. Give it a couple of really good twists. And press it all up together. Collect it. Now, after you're all done, then you can really manipulate your deco mesh to have it sit just like you like it. But, oh, this makes a beautiful application. And I mentioned in the intro, this striped deco mesh really added so much to this wreath, in my opinion. So I'm going to do the striped bundle, then the snowball bundle, then the stripe, then the snowball. And I'm just going to go all the way around that wreath frame and fill it up. And it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Now, don't worry if along the way, if you like your loose roll method like I do, I don't worry if they unroll a little bit, because once I'm done putting everything on the wreath, I manipulate the deco mesh, and anything that's come unrolled in the process of mounting it on the wreath frame, I just take care of that all at once after I have everything on. Now, if you like your rolls of your deco mesh rolled up tighter in your woodland method bundle, go right ahead and roll it tighter. This is just what I like, not even on every wreath, but just particularly on this wreath today. I like the fluffiness of it, if you will. Well, here you have it. And oh my gosh, love this deco mesh wreath already. So I go around, and now you can see I'm doing it right there. I go around the entire wreath and just collect everything, manipulating my deco mesh exactly the way I wanted, and just getting it all prepared to place on all of my my gingerbread adornments. Okay, so here are those cookie cutters, and you can see what I mean, how they turned out very dark. Like I said, almost like a barn red. And when you put the deco mesh up to it, no, not working for me. So, I took those outside and spray painted them, and then I did a little trim on them, and I'm going to show you that in a bit. A cute little addition to those. All right, here's my piece that I got at craftoutlet.com. I want to say this piece is maybe, I don't know, maybe 8 inches. It's not maybe possibly a little bit more than that. I didn't measure it. But I don't like that bow that came on it, the gingham check. It was smashed, and I just don't do well with smashed bows. I have to do them over my own way. So I'm going to take this 7/8 inch ribbon. It's very pretty. It has a little bit of a glitter to it, and it has a little edging that's kind of reminds me of peppermint. And so that's very much a pretty addition to this wreath. So I'm just going to create a very small 4-loop bow with one single loop going right down the center. And I want to say those loops are maybe around 3.5 to 4 inches. I'm going to place a half a pipe cleaner around the bow to hold all those loops that I created. And then I am going to fold under a loop right in the center to finish off that bow. Now I am going to be making a bow in a bit, and so you could follow along to see the steps of how I create a bow when I do that particular bow. All right, so I'm going to take that little tail that's on the top, and I'm going to poke it right through that center loop, marry it up with the little tails on the bottom, and I'm going to be hot gluing that little bow to the top of that piece. It's going to go right down the center of that gingerbread theme wreath. This is a wired ribbon, so I'll be able to manipulate the tails of that. All right, here we go. I do have bow tutorials. This one is going to be a little bit accelerated. If you want something extremely slow and methodical and explained very methodically, you can find numerous tutorials on my playlist. So what I'm doing here is I'm folding over my loops. I pinch it in the center, holding it very firmly with my thumb and my index finger. Before I fold over my loops, I always twist my ribbon because most ribbons have a good side. And I want that best side of the ribbon, of course, facing up. I'm going to do 3 loops on each side. This is going to be the base of my bow that's going to go on my wreath at the 9 o'clock position. I left around 14-inch tails. I wanted my tails cascading down from the left side of my wreath. And now I have 3 loops on each side, or 6 loops altogether. And that is layer number 1 of my triple ribbon bow. This ribbon is beautiful. It has gingerbreads, obviously some green Christmas trees, and it's just super pretty. I love it. Okay, layer number 2 is going to be this candy cane ribbon, which I think is very appropriate for this wreath. I'm going to create this bow layer the same way I created the first one. My loops are around 11 or 12 inches, right around 11 inches long in length. And as you can see, I fold over my loops, twist, pinch it in the center, twist, fold it over, holding it tightly in the middle with my thumb and my index finger. I take another half a pipe cleaner, wrap it around, twist it in the back. Now I have layer number 2 of my mixed ribbon bow. So this bow is going to be sandwiched in between that gingerbread bow that we just made, the red one, and the ribbon, or the bow that I'm going to create next. Okay, so I have this very pretty, very sturdy, very nice wired ribbon, and I'm going to leave around a 11 to 12 inch tail. This tail can be a little bit shorter. Now I'm going to make the loops of this bow a little bit smaller. I want to make them around 9 inches. I'm going to create 2 loops on each side. Twist my ribbon. Again, watch the tutorials and I'll explain it very slowly. Okay, pinch it in the center. Now I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and wrap it around the center there. And for this last bow layer, which is going to sit right on top, I want to have a center loop. I also call it the button sometimes. That's what I call it anyway. Okay, so we're going to fold it under pinch it underneath, hold it with my thumb, take a pipe cleaner, stick it through that center loop, bring it around the back, twist it nice and tight. Now that center loop is secured. I'm going to take that tail on the top, poke it right through the center loop. And now I have my top layer of my bow. And this is a very pretty gingerbread ribbon with little round peppermint candies. So we have definite peppermint theme going on here as well as gingerbread. Now we're going to start stacking our bows. I'm going to place the base bow in my hand with my hand going in between the two tails. I'm going to open up my loops to receive layer number 2, that candy cane bow. Press that right in the center, line it up as I'm just pointing there with the bottom bow. Open up the bow loops to receive the top layer. Nothing more beautiful than mixing prints. And this bow really demonstrates that. So layer number 3, the top layer. Notice that the loops are a little bit smaller as they sit on those other 2 bows. I like that graduated size of loops. Okay, now I'm going to take a full-size pipe cleaner, poke it right through the center loop, pull those bow layers very tight together. Twist it in the back and made sure they're all nice and lined up. Now I have tails on that pipe cleaner that will enable me to poke those pipe cleaners right through the deco mesh and mount that beautiful bow on that wreath at around 9 o'clock, as you will see in just a bit. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bow. Now I'm going to trim up all those tails later and angle them after I get it on the wreath to see exactly how I want that bow to look and how I want those tails to cascade right down the side of the wreath. All right, so now I am going to place that bow right at 9 o'clock. So what I do is just reach my fingers through the deco mesh, which is what I'm doing here. Even though you can't see my hand, I am digging through the deco mesh. Once I find a wreath wire, I pull the bow against the deco mesh, twist it in the back. Now I'm also going to take wire cutters. I'm using scissors right there because where I'm crafting the day I did this, I didn't have my wire cutters with me, but generally I try and snip off my pipe cleaners with wire cutters, just not so as to not dull up my scissors too much. Look how beautiful that is already with that magnificent bow sitting right there on the side of that wreath. All right, so what I'm showing you here are some little ribbon or little tubing bundles that are created, that I created some loops and tails. And I'm poking them in around the wreath right now, but I'm going to show you exactly how I did that in here in just a minute. All right, so I have my red cookie cutters, which you see what I mean right there? No, that's not going to work for me. So I'm taking them outside, spraying them with Rust-Oleum this time. I'm not going to use Krylon. I'm using Rust-Oleum. Not that there's anything wrong with Krylon. I generally love Krylon. But for some reason on these cookie cutters, that did not work. So I have there also some red and white twine and my Aleene's Tacky Glue. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that after you see the painted cookie cutters. Now I'm going to take that fabulous mesh. Oh my gosh, that is the most awesome mesh. It's very soft and fluffy. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm going to cut 48-inch pieces. I'm going to cut 8 of them. I'm going to leave about a 6-inch tail, and I'm just going to do some figure 8 loops, 2 on each side. Now, if you want your loops bigger, just cut your tubing longer. So I just simply made a figure 8 bow with 2 figure 8s, leaving a little bit of a tail because I like that look of the tails poking up out of the deco mesh, as well as those loops. So I did 8 of those. I closed that off with a half of a pipe cleaner. And those I'm just going to insert down into the deco mesh around the wreath. All right, now I'm going to place on my wreath my Baked with Love sign. By the way, that lettering and the heart on that sign are actually raised, and they're felt, which I thought was a really cute sign. That, again, I ordered that on craftcentraldesigns.com. Now I'm going to place that on my wreath, but I'm not going to place it straight on the wreath. I'm going to angle it, tilt it a little bit sideways. And I'm not going to lay it flat on the wreath. I'm going to kind of angle it down into the deco mesh. I'm kind of a fanatic about that, like not laying things flat on the wreath, no matter what it is. Whether you'll see in the gingerbreads, I did the same thing. Even the cookie cutters. So you'll see that here in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that little 7/8 inch ribbon bow at the top of my little Baked with Love sign. And I'm just going to hot glue that back on there. Now that sign is so lightweight, weighs barely nothing. You can put pipe cleaners on the back of that sign and adhere it to your wreath frame with the pipe cleaners, or you can hot glue it. This wreath obviously is not going to be on the outside. I'm not worried about any elements of the weather. And I just hot glued mine, but you do you. If you want to put a pipe cleaner on the back and wire it to the wreath frame, feel free. So I also placed my little tubing bundles around the wreath, deciding where I was going to place them, and then I just attached them by reaching through the deco mesh, which is very easy, and finding a wreath wire and attaching those. Now I'm also placing my gingerbreads on, and you can see I put them, the boy gingerbread around 2 o'clock and the girl gingerbread around 4 o'clock. And I tilted them, as you can see. I don't lay them flat on the deco mesh. I also hot glued those little tin gingerbread people to the wreath. These look so cute on there. And that's going to hold very nicely. Unless you put your wreath in an attic that's 110 degrees, you don't have any reason to worry about using just the hot glue. I don't ever recommend taking a gorgeous wreath like this and placing it in a hot attic. I'm going to recommend that you place your beautiful wreaths that you put so much hard work into on a coat hanger and hang it in the back of your closet. You take it out next Christmas, it's going to be beautiful. That's what I do. That's what I recommend. Also, I recommend that to my family and friends and all of my wreath clients. Okay, so I'm going to take these picks. Now, I don't want those green berries, but I think I'm going to be able to use those green berries on a wreath, probably a wreath, yes, but a Grinch project that I'm doing. So what I did was I took my wire cutters and I snipped off the candies from those 3 picks. And I'm just going to place those around the wreath, do a dry run, place them down, see where they look best, balance everything out. You want balance and symmetry on your wreath. And just like I don't place those, any of those other elements flat on the wreath, I place my candies the same way. I tilt them into the wreath. Now, for those little berries, I am going to use the red and white ones. And I'm just going to remove the green ones. And I'm just going to place a few of those around the wreath. I think I did about 6 of those. And this wreath is becoming so beautiful. I'm showing you there where I placed all the candies. I'm trying to give you a good look here, how everything is placed on there. Just beautiful. Okay, last but not least, the cookie cutters. So they are white now. Now I have this red and white twine. They do sell this at the Dollar Tree, but I believe I picked mine up somewhere else because I have a nice big roll there. So I know I must have gotten it somewhere else, but they definitely have that at the Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is take Aleene's Tacky Glue. I'm going to run a little narrow strip of glue all the way around the perimeter of that cookie cutter, right at the top of the cookie cutter. Those cookie cutters have a little bit of a lip on the top, and I'm placing that twine right behind that little lip. And I think this, if I do say so myself, was a great idea. I just love this. It really dressed up those cookie cutters, gave them a little bit of that red and white peppermint type of feel to them, if you will. And it just looks so cute. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how long is it going to take me to cover all 6 of those pieces with that twine? I'll tell you, I did it in under 15 minutes. It was that easy. Okay, so everything is all, the perimeter is all covered on my cookie cutters, and I'm going to place those around the wreath. Again, there's 6 of them, 3 sizes to each, the male and the female gingerbread. And again, just like I do everything else, I'm going to place my cookie cutters down, angle them different directions, do a dry run, place them around, see exactly where I want them. I'll show you where I placed everything here in just a minute. It's difficult to get the entire wreath. It's a big wreath into the frame. And I'm going to hot glue my cookie cutters down now. And those will adhere very nicely. Everything adheres nicely to deco mesh. It's a dream material to work with. Let's put it that way. Love, love deco mesh. And I love a good deco mesh, which all of these deco mesh rolls were very good quality deco mesh. I'm going to take a full-size pipe cleaner, a red one, and I'm just going to determine where the 12 o'clock position is on that wreath, keeping in mind that the bow is at 9 o'clock. And I'm going to just create a loop on the wireframe for my hanger. And I just go around the back, I still have to clean up the back. You can see there. Okay, let me show you how I finish the tails. I love to do this. I take my ribbon from the base bow, and that's my longest one. Then my next one, my peppermint candy cane, I make that a little bit shorter. See how I'm doing that? And I'm angling the tails. And then my top bow, I make that a little bit shorter. So what I have here is layered tails. I think this is such a beautiful look. It's kind of a signature thing that I do. And then the other tails, I'm just going to cut those approximately the same length. But see how pretty that looks when you layer the tails. Just little tips and tricks that I can share with you in wreath making. I hope you enjoy receiving them and that you take advantage of them. So, so beautiful. And here we have the finished wreath. So I have everything all balanced out and symmetry applied to my wreath. As you can see, all of my cookie cutters and my little tin gingerbread people. See how cute that twine looks on those cookie cutters? Look at that bow. Now you see what I mean about mixing your prints. How beautiful that looks. That wreath has so much visual interest, so much color, and I absolutely love it. And I hope you do as well. Remember, if you're not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one. And please give this video a thumbs up and leave me your comments and share this video with your friends. This really helps my channel to grow. And I really, really appreciate that. And here you can see a close-up of all of those beautiful gingerbread elements. And imagine how beautiful this would be in a kitchen with a gingerbread theme. Love, love. And I hope you do as well. Okay, until next time, you all take care.